welcome to the world of musicians. It is our intention to share some of our tips, thoughts, and ideas in the hope that you may consider some of them to better assist you on your own musical journey. I also wanted to help explain what we are doing to assign more meaning behind the word practicing. No matter what your age or instrument, music, and the finely skilled process of reading music, is universal. We are all in this together. What does practice even mean? Something usually or regularly done often as a habit. Practicing something is actively doing something regularly, actively, or repeatedly to improve your skill at doing. Learning an instrument is a skill. Regardless of talent, you still have to develop your skill. Developing our skill gives us the ability to do something well over time because we have practiced it. Talent can accelerate the learning process, but both have to equally put in the practicing effort to be successfully skilled. That puts everyone in the same starting position. No matter what your level or talent, you still have to develop your skill. For example, he's quite good at tennis, but he still needs to practice his serve. Or his written Italian is very good, but he needs to practice speaking. Or she practices the violin every day to develop her skill. Remember, even though your brain understands the concepts of notes, you get it, you still have to practice moving and strengthening your fingers so they know where to go on your instrument. You have to actually do it and play it consistently to develop your skill. You can watch videos on how to do anything: ski, ride a horse, carpentry, drive, play an instrument. Your brain may have the information and get it, but until you actually do it, you won't be developing your skill at it. Not until you take action and do it over and over and over again. But the more you repeat it over and over, the more skill and experience you have. You will know when you are mastering your skill because it will feel good. Then you get to experience the confidence, fun, and feeling of accomplishment you get from developing your own skill. The more you practice something, anything, the more you open yourself up to more joy. That's the icing on the cake. Just making a little time every day to develop your skill, is the key. And that's where we begin. So observe how your practicing habits feel right now. Then consider these action steps. Let's face it, we all have many obligations all week long. Extra time gets squeezed out. No one has the time. We have to make time before the week even starts and honor it. Otherwise, the week tends to fly by and another good opportunity is missed. And before you know it, it's bedtime and you totally forgot. And it's too late now. Somewhere in there, we need to make space to help balance it all out. You might be thinking, I can't fit another thing into my week, let alone practice time. Yes, you can. Clear the area, blank slate, clear the calendar. Once we prioritize, rearrange, and organize a few things, it always feels much better. It's a creative process that feels good. The same with your calendar. Put in the most important obligations first: school, work, chores, etc. At school or work, scheduling may be done for you. You have a specific timeline divided up to fit in all your tasks. But after school or work, we have to make our own timeline for the rest of the day. After hours, it helps to schedule our activities on paper so we can see how our priorities all easily fit into our day. For me as a kid, as soon as I smelled dinner on the stove, that signaled me to stop what I was doing. It was time to practice. Until I got called to the table to eat dinner. That gave me a good 30 minutes. Remember, just as you read over the summer, remember to read music over the summer too. Otherwise, the restart will be a huge draining effort. You want a smooth transition so you don't lose what you gained. So, what's a good time for you for lesson time and practice time? Learning an instrument is not an obligation. like school or work or chores. It's a choice, an opportunity to develop and freely express yourself musically, culturally, and creatively. On top of all the other benefits, stimulates your brain, increases IQ, increases confidence, improves memory, improves abstract reasoning for math and science, improves social skills, working with others, improves concentration, develops great time management, enhances your creativity. It's fun, and the feeling of accomplishment is tremendous. So, once you've put aside the time, use your time wisely. It's worth it. Remember, artists and musicians develop themselves, not a team. You are investing in yourself. Learning an instrument is an individual activity, unless you join the band, and even then, you still have to learn your own part. If you play an instrument, you can relax and play anytime. Although you may be sitting on a piano bench, you won't be benched waiting for your turn to play. Okay, you found the time. Next, having the right tools makes all the difference. For practicing, your workspace is your happy place. Set a quiet space where you can concentrate with a good working instrument. If you are playing an instrument from the woodwind, brass, string, or percussion family, P.S. A piano is technically a percussion instrument because you strike the key, which moves the hammer to vibrate the string. Know that renting a band or orchestra instrument from a musical instrument store will give you a vetted and better quality instrument. Plus, they have certified repair technicians in case your strings, pads, valves, slides, etc. need TLC in a hurry. Ask a school band or orchestra teacher who they recommend. Just as your certified piano technician will care for your investment so it is always harmonious and sound under all conditions. And clean. Pianists, if you're lucky enough to have a real vibrating acoustic piano, your keys and bench should be at the correct height. For keyboards, it should be no less than 88 keys. Part of playing the keyboard is judging the distance from either end. Your lowest key should be A. If your keyboard is too small, your bearings will be all thrown off. You eventually won't have enough keys and won't be able to develop a good judgment to finding very high or very low notes. You also have to adjust the stand so the top of the white keys to the floor measures around 30 inches. You need a keyboard bench that's about 20 inches high, not a cushy armchair. Not a tall stool either. Your body position will be all off kilter. The distance from the bottom of your keyboard to the top of your bench should be about 9 inches. You can always put a sturdy book or foam mat on the bench for an added inch or two. Not a cushy pillow, too wobbly. That's all so that your elbow to your hand should be straight across, almost like an L, not under your chin. Then shoulders can be relaxed with your arm extended slightly in front. If you were keyboarding on a computer, the same 100-degree angle rule applies, with elbows slightly in front, arms to wrist straight across. There is a straight angle up from your wrist to the top of your highest knuckle to take the pressure off your wrist, as if a little marble could roll down. Find your playing area in front of the keys and plant yourself in the center of that area on the bench. No bench hopping. That's why your feet should be firmly flat on the floor in ready position so you can lean to the left or the right without falling over. It's almost like being in a skiing stance in ready position. If your feet don't reach the floor, add a footstool. If you need the pedal, sit more on the edge of the seat. You want to lean slightly forward so you're coming down on the keys with the weight of your shoulders to help. You should be sitting about halfway on your bench. It's just to hold you up. It's not a couch. Check that your knees are under the keyboard. Also, you want space under your thigh to free up your thigh muscle. It's easier to play the pedal that way. Lastly, speaking of pedal, your heel is always on the floor. Toes go up and down. Good form is needed using proper alignment of body, shoulders, arms, wrists, hands, and fingers. Practice proper position for your instrument. Like sports, it's part of success. Regarding keyboards, if you're lucky enough to have a choice between an electronic keyboard versus a real acoustic piano, know that real acoustic pianos vibrate back to you. Put your hand on top and feel the vibration when you play. When you have a real acoustical instrument, you can feel the instrument and fall in love with the sound you make. When a string is played, it vibrates at that frequency, plus, along with a multitude of higher frequencies called overtones. When you play an acoustic guitar, the strings vibrate through the soundboard. You can feel the vibration and hear the rich tones through the hole in front. On an electric guitar, the strings vibrate, but the solid body doesn't pick up much sound. When not connected to the amp, they don't sound as loud or rich as an acoustic. It's a different sound. All these instruments vibrate either by a reed or a player's lips, which then travels through the instrument. That's the sound you will fall in love with, the rich sounds of these harmonics. Electric keyboards do not vibrate, so that richness in sound is missing. Plus, in my opinion, you can sink into the weight of the piano keys to build a solid technique for strong fingers without landing in between keys. No matter how much the keys are weighted on an electric keyboard, it's just not the same. That's why many pop singers study with classical opera teachers to develop their strong technique, proper breathing, enunciation, and much more. As you develop your skill and add articulations to make your music come alive, discussed ahead, you will be able to execute these precisely on a real piano. But electronic keyboards and synthesizers do have their place. As an educator, I have several, but they are used for group ensembles, travel, outdoor concerts, or composing if you MIDI the keyboard to a computer with music writing software. If you have a digital available, you will make progress, but as you develop your skill, you will enjoy what you can do and hear on a real piano more. Moving on, add a bright light directly on your music. Musicians always use a pencil with a good eraser. Have it handy. No pens. We like a few sticky papers, which we use as a very important tool for reading. Put your cell or mobile devices away to avoid distractions. And if need be, a do not disturb sign so you can get into deep concentration. Okay, you're all tuned up. Time to set a healthy mindset. Music is a skill. Respect and value your own talent enough to know that you need time to develop your skill. Surround yourself with people who have the same healthy values so you can emotionally support each other. Supportive friends don't interrupt you in the middle of your time to develop your skill. If it's too tempting, put your devices aside. Be social, but is too much cutting into your goals? Unless it's an emergency, you can catch up with them later on. Respect and verbalize your own boundaries. Respect their time also. Supportive friends give back. They are there rooting for all your accomplishments, and that includes you to do the same. You're doing something positive for yourself and doing something positive for someone else. You made the time. Next, how to achieve your practicing goals. So, what's the practicing plan? Do you have a plan? Deciding what you want to accomplish can get a little daunting if you're not sure where to start. Spoiler alert, ultimately, you want whatever it is you just worked on to feel good. For us, it's not just about walking the path, going from step to step, song to song. Just playing to check off the assignment really isn't much fun. But incorporating this game is ultimately a game changer. It never fails. It gives you and your teacher an accurate reading and assessment. So every step of the way, we always stop and ask ourselves 1 to 10, how does it feel? With 1 feeling awful, having no clue, to 10 feeling fabulous, memorized. When asked, how does it feel? And your answer is fine, well, sort of okay. It doesn't pinpoint anything. So play what you've learned so far and then ask yourself, how does it feel? If you've set a 4, chances are the entire part is not a 4, but some spot is bringing the piece down. It does not mean you're a terrible musician. No need to wave the white flag or give up. It's just a signal. Can't say it enough. It's just a signal that something needs a little attention, a little tweaking. So put your super sleuth hat on and play it line by line or measure by measure, asking how each part feels until you find that bugger. Aha! The tricky spot. So that's what's giving you the 4. In part 2, we have specific fun strategies to get you smoothly through those spots. We can close in on the spot and make the changes until it's smooth. Now you are back on track. I love this part of teaching. It's fun finding the spots, and the relief and smiles it brings is incredible. That's why teachers will point out all the positive you are doing so you stay on track and tweak the weak spots. We are always building on what's going right, building on a solid foundation. As you read, keep listening to your playing. When you take your time and listen for your best sounding practice example, now you have something to be proud of, an accomplishment today. From this point forward, you are going to have successes because success and accomplishment feels good. They know. Okay, let's get you moving on to the strategies. We welcome you to join us next in part 2. This way to part 2, where we have fun, proven strategies and insight that really works. See you there.